Hey guys, welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe, and as always, I'm joined by Nathan. And today we're talking about Squid Game. Hey, more
Hey.
specifically, Squid Game season 2 because it just dropped just over a month ago at time of recording, December 27th. So it dropped when we were on Christmas break. You best believe that I watched it when I had a lot of free time. And Nathan has just watched it recently. So we're going to discuss it and what we'd like to see going forward and maybe a bit of season 3. It says season 3. It's a season 2 part 2, but they're calling it season 3. So
Yeah.
we'll roll with that for the moment. How are you, Nathan?
I'm doing good, mate. I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's an interesting one with Squid Game season 2 because I'm going to say this off the bat straight away. When I saw Squid Game season 1, I thought this is perfect. This is a great show. And when they announced the season 2, I was immediately like, why? They don't need to make a season 2. Like it felt like you're just doing it for the sake of it in some ways. And arguably, the creator did come out and say, "Yeah, I'm doing it for money." Because he was like he even said it, he was like so honest with it. But arguably it's because he got paid not that well in season 1 from what I've heard anyway.
Okay,
So he's doing
fair.
season 2, and obviously because it's such a massive phenomenon right now, because of the build up of season 1, he's probably getting a shit ton more for it now. So get your bag, you know what I mean?
I find that ironic considering the messaging of Squid Game in general.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
whole thing
I mean,
about Squid Game is like, oh, everyone nowadays is just money hungry, so greedy, and
yeah.
it's like he's doing it for money. Like,
It comes from a place deep in his heart. Let's put it that way.
yeah.
No,
I mean, at the same time,
just
though,
joking, of course, joking. Like,
yeah,
I'm sure he's
it's
anonymous.
just an observation. It's just an
Yeah.
observation. Like Pepe said, get your bag, man. Do you get your money? Especially if it's true that they didn't get paid very well for the first one, and it was a runaway success. I think it's
Yeah.
easy to say that.
Yeah, 100%. And if you go do a season 2, you know for a fact it's like you could even see right now that it is like it's done amazingly on Netflix. It's like one of its top 5.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, you can see why. But bear in mind, if you haven't seen Squid Game season 2, there will be spoilers. We're gonna say that
yes.
off the bat. We'll be discussing that.
Also, if you haven't seen Squid Game season 2 or Squid Game in general, I don't quite know why you're here.
Yeah, it's
For the
always the one,
episode,
isn't
you
it?
know what I mean? Like,
Because it's so funny when we discuss these things because we're always like, yeah, there's gonna be spoilers, and then we're like, why are you here? Like, why are you even listening to this? But yeah, Nathan, I want to obviously I said that I was quite anxious about how a
mm.
season 2 would go. How did you feel about it when you first heard about it?
Okay, so I was incredibly nervous because season one was like some masterful TV,
Yeah.
right? Season one was like this just thing. Like I remember going into season one thinking like because I got to it late, so I was always like,
Mhm.
oh man, everyone's talking about this thing. It's gonna be so
Mhm.
overhyped. Like I'm gonna get it. I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, it's all right. But like everyone was overplaying it. They weren't. So I was very nervous because I'm like, it's got some really big shoes to fill. Because like
Mhm.
from all the promo, from everything we know, even at the end of like season one, we are told that the main character gi-hun is going
Mhm.
back. He's going to the games again, and you're like, when you've seen the games once, you're like, I don't know how this is gonna play out.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I'm going to care about the games as much because like all the surprises that happen, right? You're like, we know they
Mhm.
die. We know money is based on how many people die. Like we kind of already have the premise of the game, so I'm like, I don't know how you're gonna do this differently. But I'll tell you what, it might not have gripped me as well as season one,
Mhm.
but they did a bloody good job for a second season. I'll tell you that.
100%. I feel like that's the biggest surprise to me is that I'd easily put this on par with season 1. Like you said, you'd be a little bit anxious of like, wait, what are they even going to do differently? Surely,
Yeah.
oh, he's going back to the games again. What is he going to do differently? And then obviously he rounds up this team to take down the games. and it incredibly backfires on him.
Mm.
like so, and then he's basically trapped in this thing, so he has to go through it all over again. He's got this knowledge. Oh yeah, they've done these games in the past, but apart from the first one, they've not repeated any games, which I think is such a good move for it as well. Apart from the first game, like because obviously he goes in and then he obviously that gives him that edge of being like, oh yeah, I know what the games are like. So
Yeah.
so he saved a bunch of people like that. But also like they don't believe him at first either. Like they're like, oh yeah, like there's a lot of people that just run away and then think they're not gonna get killed. Obviously they get shot. Blah 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 blah. Loads of stuff goes down. And then it kind of sets up, and you think, oh, he's got them. Like he's given people all the rundown that, oh look, I've
Yeah.
to quote the meme, I've played these games before.
God.
We'll touch on that later, I'm sure. But you think, oh, okay, so they know that he's been through it before. They're
Mm.
like the sane part of you is like, they'll just quit. They should just quit. Like people are
Yeah.
smart. Like they got like a decent-ish sum of money. They can just leave. But no, obviously it's a tale of greed and human greed and money. So of course they're like, yeah, but we could get even more money. Like
I tell
it's
you,
like,
the actors do such a good
mhm,
job.
mhm.
Before I get into that, I'm gonna ask you the age-old question:
Yeah,
sub or
yeah,
dub?
yeah. Of course, at the dub. No, sub.
I was gonna say, don't you dare tell me.
Nah,
Of course,
nah,
I did the dub. I'm like,
nah.
oh my god, my guy.
No. I watched the sub because like I think we've had this conversation before. When it comes down to live actions, like it has to be the sub
Yeah,
version. You can't like it grates me. It literally grates my ears to see dub.
I've watched a YouTube video that played clips of the dub,
Yeah, yeah.
and I did not like it. I did
No,
not.
it's so weird. Like, what my favorite things that I see on Netflix's socials is they play side by side versions of the English one and the Korean one, and they got a
Hmm.
Spanish one, so it's all the different dubs. And one of my favorite ones is I, I'm going to touch on it quickly now. Thanos,
Oh god.
because
We'll
because
get. Oh my
obviously
god. Yeah, he was gonna be part of my point, but let's go.
yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, like he occasionally, because Thanos is a rapper, he's in the games to like because he got scammed out of crypto stuff, which is hilarious. And then, but he occasionally speaks like drops these lines of English, which I find absolutely hilarious. And one of my favorite lines is just such a throwaway one when they're doing the merry-go-round right
Hmm.
game, and he comes out of the room. He says, "Welcome back, my friends." And then it's the guy behind him, which goes "Skrrt." Like straight after. It's that like, and then they did it in different things because for some reason they also dubbed him over in English in that one scene, which is obviously it makes sense because otherwise you'd have to, because if he's speaking English the whole way and then suddenly the voice changes a little bit when he goes back into the Korean, it'd be like, wait, what? That'd be a little bit off-putting. But I was just watching all the different dub versions of Welcome Back, my friends, because they all do the English as well. Or like I think some of them go like for the actual, like I think the French one might go for like the actual French versions here, like what was it? Whatever. But it's always the same guy at the back that goes "Skrrt." Apart from I think it's like the Czech dub, I think it is, where he just goes "Ski."
Wow.
But that is one of my favorite moments that, in terms of the dub bits.
Dang. Okay. Well. Okay. So this brings me into my point. The actors did a great job because
Mhm.
I fucking hated Thanos.
Yeah,
He's such a prick. He's
Oh
such a
man.
prick. I fucking hated him.
Yeah, like that's what it's him. Like so, Thanos is one of those ones which is like when you watch it through, it's aggravating. You see him do this thing, you're like, oh mate, he's an absolute dickhead. He's like actively like like he knows what he's doing. He's actively killing other players and like
Yeah.
sabotaging them. It's like even in that first game where he's just doing a massive run when he's on the drugs, pushing over people like so they get shot, and it's like, bro, like from the start, you're like, okay, this guy's a bastard. Like straight off the bat, you get
Bruh,
that, and
it's just
then
everything about him was played perfectly because I fucking could not stand. Anytime
yeah,
he was on screen, I was mad because it's just
yeah.
not only is he the perfect embodiment of this fucking modern day cringe ass, like
Rappers,
fucking
yeah,
like entitled motherfucker, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just it was so grating. And whilst you're like, it is kind of funny hearing the English. Anytime he fucking broke off from Korean and just started speaking, I'm like, you fucking cringe piece of shit. Fuck you,
It
man.
is. It's the moment where he shows off his nails as well. It's like
Yeah, when
obviously,
she's when he's like, Thanos has got you, and she's like, oh, have you got the Infinity Stones? And he's just like waving his fingers around, like, yeah, I got them all. You're
yeah,
safe with me. And it's like, fuck you, dude.
yeah.
Fuck you, you prick.
It's him, and it's also the old guy as well. The old guy
Oh,
pissed me
that
off
old guy.
so
I
much.
hated him so much too.
Yeah,
Fuck
like
that guy.
it's like a it screams like old old dude that's had loads of money before, but obviously
Yeah.
he's lost it because of like investments and stuff like that, and he just kept on going into debt. It's like his debt was the highest, weren't it?
Yeah. Bruh, how much you want to bet his character arc is gonna be he was some fucking CEO or some shit. It was
Yeah.
embezzlement. He got done. He lost all of his money to settlements and shit, and now he has to play the fucking game. That's why he's like that. That old boy,
Yeah.
fuck him, man. Fuck that
Yeah,
guy.
he is. Because for me, like Thanos at least has some. I'm not gonna say redeeming qualities because obviously he's an absolute bastard, but he was really like quite enjoyable to watch in terms of story. You know what I mean? Like progressing it because
I
like you have
guess.
to have those villains. But the
Yeah.
old guy infuriated me so much because he was literally just like, obviously he's like one of the highest debts, so of course he's gonna push for more games and stuff like that. So he was always one to say, one more game. And I was like,
Bruh,
why are you doing that, bruh? Like, stop. Like,
it's
your
not
your,
even
your
just
old
like
ass can die in a second. Why are you doing this?
it's not even just
Like,
one more game. It's always like he's always got something to say as well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
anytime something comes up and he's like, "Yeah, but how we know we can trust you? You this and you that." Like, "Oh,
Yeah.
what about the rest of us?" It's like, "Bruh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the
It's
fuck
like,
up."
oh, so you've been through these games before, so you could help us win more games. And it's like, no, that's not that was not his
That's
original
not the
point.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's
It's fucking
it was
yeah.
a
There's a lot of those like characters that are like fairly well written because I'm like, or at least
mm,
played really well because I'm like, God, you I either really hate them or I really
mm.
come to like them because I'm like, oh, okay, that's like the old lady, for example. She's like, I really like her. She's so relatable.
It's that is one thing. The old lady and her son,
Yeah.
like those two characters. At first, I was like, I don't know. Like, obviously, it's like he's got in there, and then his mum's also joined the game to try and help him or
Mm.
get out the debt. And like that's a little bit heartbreaking to begin with because as from your like from the son's point of view, it's like I don't I'd be like, what the fuck, my mum's here, so it's not just me at stake, it's also my mum as well.
Mm.
And he also there's also that point where he votes to stay in the game. And his mum's like, "What? Why have you done this? Why have you done this?"
Oh man.
And then it goes to the merry-go-round,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh," and then obviously it's a scramble to like get the right number of people, and then he's there staying with his mum. He's like, "No, we're gonna stay together. We're gonna stay together,"
Mm.
and then they get torn apart. And honestly, all the stuff that goes on in that show, that for me was the most heartbreaking part because you think she's gonna die and he's like trying to scramble back like mom, and then she's just standing there watching her son get like
Yeah.
turned away and stuff like that. And then luckily she does get saved, but that for me was like, oh my fucking god, that is heartbreaking. Like just seeing his reaction.
Mm.
Obviously, if she did die, you know for a fact he would just be blaming himself completely with that. He'd be like,
Bruh.
yeah.
That that character in general was just like I don't know, she's just so relatable because it's like, like
Mhm.
they have that the transgender character as well.
Yes, yeah.
And at first she's like she's very judgmental of the character because, she's old, she doesn't understand. But then like they go through some hardships and then they like come together and then she becomes a little more understanding and everything. I'm
Yeah.
like, that is growth. That is
Yeah.
relatable, right? She's like, don't worry about it, whatever. Like we're cool, like I kind of get it now, I understand. And then it's also the fact that she does that such a typical like foreign person thing of like, oh, when we get out, everybody's gonna come to my place. We're gonna have a big old
Yeah.
meal. We're gonna have a party. I'm gonna provide. Like, we got this covered. Don't worry. You come over. Where you from? Where you from?
Yeah.
That's not even that
Yeah.
far. Oh my god. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's such a relatable thing, right?
It's like a maternal instinct kind of thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's what your mum would do. You know what I mean? It's like something like a parent would do, and it's wholesome like that. Which is why it's those kind of heartfelt moments where you get those wholesome moments, which are then taken away from you because you know it's still a game where people are freaking dying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's those hard hitting moments. But talking about those characters as well. I think it's Hyunju, the transgender character
Mm.
that's in it. Um, Freaking hell, one of the best characters in the show. Like literally just turns so such a fucking badass, such a like just popping off guys. And it's like, whoa, that's fucking sick.
That was the
Yeah.
coolest because they're just trying to blend into the background for so long. They're a bit meek and mild. Every now and again, they do some stuff like in that that team race where they're like tied
Yeah.
together, and then the fortune teller or whatever's like freaking out, and then they just turn around and slap the shit out of her like
Yeah.
focus.
Yeah. It was so good. It was like, yeah.
But it's like you say, it's like then all of a sudden they're like, I was part of military service. I was like, I was like essentially like Green Beret, like top
Mhm.
level like shit, and
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I just
Did that,
that's what I did.
yeah. It was so cool. I honestly like just like seeing her in action, like just pop it off.
In it,
It's like,
it's as soon as she
jeez, yeah.
picks up the gun, and you're like, okay, they're stepping up, they're brave, and then they're just like, no, one shot, literally
Yeah.
one shot, one kill. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah. And like honestly, like they carry that moment, like honestly, like so like
Yeah.
especially in that last obviously and like you have in stark contrast, you have was it Daiho, I think his name is, who is the guy that's very much like oh yeah, I used to be in the military and has a tattoo and
Oh yeah,
everything.
Ji-hun's
And
best
he's
friend. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
no, the other guy, not the best friend,
Oh, the
the guy
kid.
that said he was in yeah, like he's kind of
Well, not
like
the kid, the younger guy.
the younger guy that's like yeah, who, and
Yeah, yeah.
he makes friends with I think his best friend, and
Yeah.
then like so he's like oh yeah, I'm
Okay,
military,
yeah.
like we'll do this, and then
Yeah,
it's like
we're
yeah,
in the
you've been
Marines.
yeah, it's like yeah, that was it was the Marines, yeah, we do this, and then the thing is I'm trying to work out what is going on with that character because like obviously he's like sent to get ammo and he's sent to round up
Mm.
ammo and he goes all the way back to get all the ammo from the different guns and he freezes. And part of me is like,
Uh-huh.
okay, so I have two theories, and I'm not exactly clear on what it is. It's either he was never in the Marines and
Mhm.
he's just faking it, or he has PTSD, and I don't know which one it is.
Okay, I think it's somewhere in the middle.
Hmm.
My personal theory is because he said he grew up with lots of sisters, right?
Yeah.
So I reckon he was, at least in Marine training,
Hmm.
forced by his dad to do something a little more masculine, right? So forced to join the Marines by his dad. Probably went through training and stuff. Probably never actually
Hmm.
saw any combat because he probably got some sort of PTSD or something from like boot camp.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he freezes up right now because he's never actually had any live fire training, like
Yeah, yeah.
so he's maybe done lots of the basic training and maybe dropped out or like ducked out before like actual combat training.
Yeah.
So now that there's actual guns and shit and people are dying around him, he can't keep up that
He's
facade
panicking.
anymore because he
Yeah.
is still just a civilian. He's
Yeah.
never actually completed the training. That's my theory.
That's yeah, that's interesting. It could I think I just want to know more about how that's gonna go. And it's interesting to see where this is going with like that season two, part two, or
Mm,
whatever, season three, whatever.
it's
I
part
keep
two.
going
Let's
in
face it,
between
it's
this.
part two.
Yeah.
It's definitely part two.
Yeah, they keep saying season three, and I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll do. So I keep on accidentally going between the
Yeah, but
two.
I
But
mean, this
if
is the same
yeah,
same company that split up JoJo.
it's it's definitely like the fact that like it took what was it, almost like 4 years to come up with season two.
Mm.
And then what you gonna tell me that season three is literally happening in a few months? No,
Yeah.
there's
No.
that doesn't work out.
No.
That's a
It
part two. You
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
It's the
no
same thing
way.
they do with Stranger Things as well. Like it's the same model. Don't be like, oh yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, it's. But whatever they want, if Netflix want to call it that, they can freaking call it that, I guess. But yeah, like
Hype killer is what I call it.
yeah, yeah. Like and obviously it's going to be the final season as well. They've established it is that it's not going to go past that, which is
I'm not
good.
gonna
Like
lie. It
yeah.
can't whatever happens in 3, I don't feel like you can do another one after that. Like
Absolutely
what?
not. No.
Fucking they didn't succeed and now they try and take down the games again. I don't want to watch another season of that.
No, you like that's the it's exactly that. Like, where would you even go with it? You couldn't. But like, then there's obviously the talks of like, oh, they're doing the US version as well, and it's like again, I don't think it's a net. Like I said this about season two. To be fair,
Ugh.
I don't think it's necessary. It may come through and be good. I don't know if it will, but whatever. Like apparently, it's got a good director behind it as well. So who
I mean,
knows?
we'll see.
Um,
We'll see, but like
yeah,
not even just American version, just another version of a thing that was established but in a different like setting, as in like somewhere else in the world, usually is not very good.
no, I can't imagine it's gonna translate too well. I have my doubts about it. I might like when it does come out, I might try it, but I'm not
I mean,
exactly hyped
I'll
about it.
give it a
Let's be
go,
honest.
but yeah,
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I'm not excited
yeah,
at all.
yeah. But who knows? We might be eating our words when it does come out eventually. Who like we'll probably see. But going back to my point before is that when we go into that season three, I want to like obviously we've had a lot of deaths right now. And I want to know where that's even
Mhm.
carrying over because like are the games just gonna carry on? Like it feels like they're doing so with that red light, green light. You got the girl and now you got the boy as well. So it's like what's the deal with that? What even is that game? What does that even look like? So I guess they are carrying on with the games and uh
I
freaking
think
yeah.
if the games continue, it's because they've forced some sort of resolution through what's happening towards the end of season 2, quote unquote, right? So far of the episodes we've gotten of season 2, right? So we've had that big revelation. I kind of don't, even though we said spoilers, I kind of don't want to spoil like that pivotal moment. Yeah, in the last episode, right? So whatever resolution comes from all of that, the games will continue off. If the games continue after that, it's because one side won over the other, and they're now just forcing whoever's left to take part in one like horrendous, horrific game or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Maybe
It
they've
could yeah.
devised like last minute device, just like you know what, you motherfuckers, you all did this. Now we're gonna make sure you all suffer in the worst way possible because fuck you.
Yeah.
All we did was try to give you money.
It's a similar one to in the first season. You remember where like they cut the teams in half because it was
Yeah,
literally a tug of war. It could very much be a thing like that. It could be like, oh,
maybe.
one side versus the other. And like I don't think the all the people that decided to stay in the game definitely won't be siding with the other one. So it could
Mm,
be like, oh, we're gonna pit you against each other, but we're gonna pit you against all these people that wanted to stay in the game versus all these people that are traitors and try to freaking get
yeah,
out of it.
pretty
Like
much.
maybe it's that kind of thing.
But also, I'm with you on the. I don't know where this whole storyline of Soldier 11 is going.
Soldier 11.
Yeah, so you were talking about in
Oh,
the game the girl,
yes, yes, yes,
like
yes, yes,
so
yes, yes, yes.
there's the staff, but they also go by numbers, and she's number 11. She's Soldier 11. I
Yeah.
don't quite know because she's like got some sort of connection to the big boss.
Yes.
And the big boss has had people watching her because they're like, "Look, you got to fall in line because I can't cover you forever. Like I helped you enough already. You got to fall in line." And she straight up turns to him, is like, "No, because I don't want to."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I don't know what side she's gonna pick. The soldiers are rolling out. but we haven't seen that
Hmm.
one key soldier yet, as in 11.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, is she gonna come in contact with the rebels, and is she gonna take their side, or is she gonna pick the boss's side and then just take them all out? And it's all like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
This is one thing about that because when it was revealed that because she used to work in the theme park, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
there was that girl that came in and like, oh,
yeah. The
like you
little girl.
can,
Yeah,
you can, and then her dad is the artist, like he's an artist in the theme park
yeah.
who also turns out to be in the games himself,
Mm.
right? So in the end, where there's a massive standoff, he's on the front line, obviously trying to pick off all the like other dudes and stuff like that, and in the process, he gets killed there, and I was thinking, like, why wasn't that a number 11 storyline brought into that moment? Because it would have been good to see, like, surely it would have been like that conflict of, oh, she has to like make the decision to kill
Mm.
this guy who is like that little girl's dad and like someone that she kind of works with in a way.
I wonder if it's supposed to be the opposite now. Instead of her making the hard choice was already made, but now
Yeah.
she has that conflict of interest because she's working for the bad guys, but she now has she'll come across the corpse and then be like, "Fuck,
Hmm.
do I do right by the kid, or do I continue this course?" Like, what I think maybe that's where the conflict of interest comes in. I agree with you. I think it would have been more interesting if she was the one who had to decide whether he lived or died,
Yeah.
but I get the feeling that's how it might play out.
I think that's my problem with it as well because like they did set up these side stories, which
Mm,
were for example, that number 11 side story is one of them.
yeah,
Was and then they also had Jun-ho, who was the detective
yeah.
for so he's working to try and find like the island basically, and got this like all this militia with him, and he's ready to
Oh,
go
yeah,
take
yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah, and then
like so they're on the
the
boat, and then
captain as well, yeah.
the captain's also betrayed him, which I kind of saw coming. That was one bit where I was like kind of like, oh yeah, we've been looking for this island for years and you still haven't found it, and it's like, yeah, this kind of seems a bit sus right now because you've been helping this guy for years trying to find this island, but you're not also like kind of like finding it at all. Like immediately, that's like, you seem sus, and turns out he was sus. He pushed over the other captain dude over the edge, and it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah,
So
or the drone pilot or something, wasn't it?
yeah, the drone pilot, that was it. Yeah, yeah. So everything about it was just like, okay, yeah, like I could kind of tell that bit happening, but like we got that storyline going on as well. And that kind of just got left off at a random point, so we don't know what's going on with that. We don't know what's going on with number. So the story sets up like two other side points, which don't really go anywhere in season two. Like, and obviously, hopefully they, I freaking hope they get answered in season three.
I guess it's
Like,
being set up to be a really big climax then,
it
really.
better
Like,
be like,
I'm
yeah.
guessing it's either a massive, big, daring escape,
Hmm.
and that's where Junho and all of the militia, like, they
Hmm.
all that plays off. I guess at some point, Soldier 11 is going to make some sort of decision and
Yeah.
pick a side. But either way, it is also leading up to um Junho finding his brother again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna be the whole frontman reveal's got to be a thing as well because that's gonna be affecting a whole. That it
Yeah.
doesn't just affect Junho now; it affects a bunch of different people now. So that's a good way of like including that frontman character in the whole
Mm.
like that like not just related to one character; it's now related to a bunch of them, which is quite cool to see.
But that's the craziest thing. It's just like it does feel like it's all going somewhere, but at the same time, I'm like, but it's not clear. And I guess that's a good thing that it's not obvious because otherwise, why would you watch a part two?
I I would have liked a few crumbs of just little crumbs of those, like just at the end, like some kind of idea where those characters are at. I think even if it's like just like one or two scenes, like just showing them like doing something, and like it just alludes to what's gonna happen in the
Mm,
series. Like I would have just like just something, just give us a little bit, like just like. But I mean, yeah, we'll definitely get those answers in the next season for sure.
they all get
Um,
drugged and they all have to play the final actual Squid Game.
Yeah, sure. It'd be interesting. Like, I want to, like, because obviously, like, you got this whole like island which is filled with all these guards and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, how are they gonna overcome this in the end? Like, how does
I
it
don't
even
know.
work? And because obviously they failed kind of miserably in that last attempt. So
Yeah.
where does it go from here? This is the one thing. Where does it go? Like, and these are questions which will be answered next season. I think that's what we're kind of looking forward to seeing. Um, I will say that I think, is it episode one? I just want to go back. We talk about the ending there. But I just want to talk about this one actor. It's the recruiter from episode
Okay,
one.
I'm glad we finally like this or circling back because god dang, I wanted to talk about that guy too. To be fair,
Yeah. It like there's he has that such a creepy expression on him. But it's also like a character which is he's just doing his job, but obviously he gets a little bit sadistic with it. And he has his own reasons for
oh
doing so,
mate,
I'd imagine.
sadistic dude.
Yeah.
When that actor did such a great job because like
Yeah.
when he needed to turn that on, he went absolutely ballistic. Absolutely,
Yeah.
oh my god! Like in the park,
Mhm.
after he's
Yeah.
handed out all the scratch cards or food, and he turns around and he like fixes himself up and he just pours all the food out and they're all like, "Oh, to mister, like, cool, I could take this, right?" And he's like, "You made your choice. I gave you the choice. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it." And watching him just stomp and kick and like absolute destroy this pastry like a child as well. It's not even like
Yeah.
it's
It's
not
like
even like
relentless as well. It's just like full on stomping, like mad
yeah.
stomping, like kind
He's
like
fully committed, like, he's going for it. He's not playing
yeah.
around. But that character, oh my god, like, the actor did
Yeah.
such a good job.
Absolutely, like I think that's one thing that like because in the wider scheme of things, that moment feels like it's not like entirely relevant to the whole series. Obviously, there's
Mm,
messaging behind it. He's doing this because oh, you either choose food or you choose your chance at money, and there's a whole meaning behind that bit of what he's doing. You can tell
yeah.
there's oh yeah, here's this thing. And in the wider scheme of the series, it's not entirely relevant. However, that stuff gets you hooked into that first episode. Like they're looking at this guy, and like this guy's like going around. It's even is like face off with Ji-hun at the end of episode one. Or I can't remember if it's episode one or episode two, one and two.
I think it was
But like
2, but
yeah, because I think they're tracking him down in episode one. But
yeah,
like
yeah.
that face off between the two of them is just insane with the Russian roulette, and it's the
Yeah.
expressions that he has on his face, even the lighting where it's like one half of his face is like blue, the other half is like red, and the lighting shining down him, and he's got like this like weird like two expression face where he's like kind of serious on one side, he's got this psychotic look on the other, and it was like, geez, this guy is put. They smashed it with the casting on this guy. It's
Yeah, they
freaking
did. I mean,
insane.
like, I think it is the end of episode 1, when he does the weird rock, paper, scissors Russian roulette with
Yeah.
the gangster and his, like, boss. He even has this like sadistic element to him, like in that
Mhm.
where he's literally just like, "You're disqualified, then I'll shoot, and
Yeah.
if you get shot, you get shot." And it's just like he's just having so much actual like you believe he's having actual
Mm.
fun torturing these people, and you're like, "God, you're fucked up, dude. You're so fucked up."
But it's just like all that stuff, like obviously, like everything about it was it's such a good hook. It's such a good hook into the
Yeah.
series. Because I think if you just went into like, oh, I need to get into the Squid Games and track it down again. If you went straight into that, I think it probably wouldn't have been as good of a hook. But that first episode, like, is just a way to just be like, oh, okay, this is actually sick. Like, I think that's the moment where I was like, okay, I'm casting my doubts aside of whether season two is actually
Yeah.
good or not. Like, that was
Well, I mean, it
that.
works because it's also a character you've seen before, but we didn't see a whole lot
Mhm.
of. Like the recruiter in
Exactly,
season
yeah.
1, we watched Ewan play the game with him, get fucking slapped to shit,
Yeah.
until we passed, right? So you don't know much about this recruiter character, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to see him again, just ever.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, season two, I just didn't think I'd see him again. So the fact that they brought back a character, what seemed like such a minor character, and then expanded him to that point was just like, whoa, okay, they're serious, they're putting in work. But it was also like I
Yeah.
just thought about it, when they're tailing him, and they're like, oh, we could wait, or we could catch him right now, and they go down the
Yeah.
alleyway, and dude just like takes him out by himself, and you're like, but that's just a recruiter, dude. He's the
He's
fuck.
he's ready. He's ready to go, man. That is like insane. Like, but man, such a good start. Honestly, such a good
Mm.
start to the series. Like, I think it just goes back to my point earlier, where like the reason why I started watching Squid Game season 2 over the Christmas break was obviously it launched on the 27th of December, so easily like people are off around that time. It's a great time to put it on Netflix, and it was one of those ones that I didn't even choose to put on. My parents really wanted to watch it,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, so I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I can play some like Switch in the background while this is on or whatever." But they were like, "Oh, I want to watch the dub," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And it got to the point where like the first like 10 minutes on, and I was like, "I can't watch this anymore. I can't watch the dub right now." So I was like, "Look, I'll let you watch this. I'm gonna go into another room and play my games." And then I was like, "I'm gonna actually watch this, but I want to watch the sub version." So that's how
Yeah.
I got into it. So I got into the first 10 minutes with a dub, and then I got into the rest of it. I was like, I'm gonna watch this my way now. I want to watch it with the sub version. And that's because they put it on. That's the reason why I went and actually watched the rest of it, because I like again, I was skeptical. I was not ready to go put season 2 on straight away at all. Like I imagine like in a similar thing with you, I imagine season 2 wouldn't have been on your list straight away either.
I didn't want to watch it straight away, but I was definitely gonna watch it just to try. I mean, I didn't watch it until about a week ago, to be fair, just how things came up. But yeah, you're right. My family were talking about it. We were hanging
Hmm.
around, hanging out at Christmas around that time, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's coming out in a couple of days." I'm like, "Oh cool, yeah, right, no problem,
Yeah.
great." I
Hmm.
might go watch that. But that's the key word is like, anytime someone brought it up, I was like,
Yeah.
I might watch that.
Exactly, yeah. It was never on the top of my list, and that's why it was so like it just hooks you in with that, like that first episode is such a good way of getting into it. And they honestly they did such a good job with it. And like despite some I have like a couple criticisms here and there, like there's nothing to take away from the series at all. I think it's a great second series. Defied all my
Mm,
expectations with it, like honestly.
yeah, I 100% agree.
And now it's mad because when I go on Instagram now, I get reels about Squid Game, and it's all the Thanos stuff as well. Because like the two things I see, right, is the fact that the frontman
Yeah.
is also quite a big acting career anyway, and he's done a bunch of dramas, but he was
Hmm.
also in Psy's music video of I can't remember what song it was. I think it was I Like That, I think it's called,
Oh,
or I
okay.
Like It. And in that music video, he's just there chilling with Psy. And then there's a little like 10-second dance sequence where he's just doing these like absolutely popping off all these moves. And and the caption like is funny because all the captions are like, yo, what the front man doing? He's out doing side quests with Psy. Stuff like that.
That's pretty
And
funny. Okay.
and then there's obviously Thanos used to be in the K-pop
Big
band
Bang.
Big
Yeah.
Bang. So I'm seeing a lot of those things come through where he's just like, yeah, he's just going on stage rapping. Obviously, because Big Bang, I don't know how big they are these days, but back in the day, that was one of the first big Korean like K-pop bands.
Well,
They were
that's
huge.
that's the funniest
Yeah.
thing is like when we first started going to Comic Cons together, that's when I remember Big Bang being like one of the biggest K-pop bands.
Yeah, it's mad when you think
So
about it
that
like
was a
that, isn't it?
long
Like,
time ago. That was a long
yeah.
time ago. Yeah, all I was seeing over the time period is like everybody doing their own version of, the mugshot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I saw a lot of that
That's
on my
that kind of thing,
socials.
yeah.
I was like,
That's
okay,
cool.
yeah, cool. So like, yeah, season two, I get it. Like,
Like it again, just in terms of promo as well. Like obviously, a Netflix show. one of the biggest Netflix shows of all time. Of course, they're
Yeah.
gonna put a shit ton of money into like doing like getting influencers to do stuff, and it's like getting all this, like getting the
Yeah.
word out there. Like I've seen like what was it? The guy that plays frontman and also Ji-hun playing like on the Hot Ones channel as well, like
Oh,
doing
okay.
this, like doing the verses one. It's like, that's quite cool to see them doing it. I seen I seen him do what was it, rating British snacks as well.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Okay.
the guy that plays Ji-hun tries Twiglets, and he's like, "Oh, these smell really good," and then eats it. And he's like, "Oh!"
Yeah.
He's like, "Why would anyone make this?" It's really, it's just cool to like see that kind of stuff in general. Like, obviously, yeah.
I think the same thing about Twiglets. They smell real good. They don't taste good though.
Mm, yeah, he loved Iron Brew though, so that's it.
Hey, my
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, he got taste, he got taste.
We could share an iron brew anytime, mate.
Yeah, yeah, come on, cultured boys. Just speaking like fully Korean, and I'm like,
Iron brew though.
Iron Brew, and he's like,
He speaks English.
Does he actually speak English? I thought it was. I don't know. Maybe it's like all the
I'm
interviews
pretty
I've
sure he
seen him
does
do.
because he was in that not so good Star Wars show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, he was in Acolyte.
Because I've only seen him do Korean. It's like, okay, it makes
No,
sense.
yeah,
Okay.
he was in, he
yeah,
was in the
Acolyte.
Acolyte. He was the master of the the other main character, but yeah, he was in that.
Okay. Was he good in it?
I don't know. I heard it was awful.
Oh, okay. That's never seen it.
I
Okay, fair.
heard the show was not very good.
I mean, I haven't watched any Star Wars shows apart from Obi-Wan and the first season of Mandalorian, so
fair.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he speaks English. Yeah, the actor
Okay, fair.
Lee Jung-jae.
Mm,
I'm
no, fair.
pretty sure he speaks English.
Fair enough. Okay then. I did not know that. Is there anything else you want to say about Squid Game at all? Anything that pops out or you want to mention before we wrap this up?
Anything that I want to say?
Welcome back, my friends.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck you. Fuck you, man.
It's my favorite line now. I can't stop saying it.
Just go and watch it. I've
yeah.
got nothing else to really say, but like, go and watch it. It's really actually pretty good. My personal opinion, maybe not quite as strong as season one,
Yeah,
but
that's
season one was like this really big thing, and we kind of, there was like shows and things that had those themes, but like there was nothing quite like it before that.
Yeah.
So like, it's for me personally, it's hard to say season two is like up there with season one because season one was like that extra little bit special, but season two is pretty fucking good and it's pretty high up there.
Yeah. I think it's just like credit to the show itself. Like it's like it had its cards stacked against it like from the start as well. Considering like it's Netflix's biggest show and it's a Korean show as well. Like I understand people watching it with the dub and stuff like that, but it's done really well to reach this worldwide audience. Like something that like has never, I don't think has ever actually been done by a Korean show before. And I think just props to that, like for actually like honestly all the people behind that, like honestly making it that like that big, like and also like following up with a season 2 as well as it is. I know, like you said, it's not as good as like you didn't think it's as good as season 1. However, like it again
did
defied
a pretty fucking
expectations
good job
of it. Like,
of it, though.
yeah, like again, I was not ready to. Like, I was ready to like be like, oh, this is crap. It doesn't need it, and it like blew my expectations out the water. So I think it's safe to say, like looking forward to season 3 when it drops later this year. Hopefully it delivers.
Look, we're only looking forward to it because season 2 only gave us questions and no answers. So now we need the answers, and this better give us the answers. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a wrap up to the whole story that we've given, and arguably, again, this isn't us saying, oh yes, like again, this is still season 2. We're like, no matter how much Netflix is saying season 3, we are both of the opinion it's a season 2. It's just extended, and that's like we're gonna get the full story then. That's when we're gonna get the full story. But I think that's why I'm kind of like, okay, cool, bring it on. Let's do it. Let's get this. Welcome back, my friends.
Fuck you, man.
Nah,
God
me,
damn it.
me when season 3 starts.
You're a piece of shit.
Next episode,
Filth.
that's it. I'm going to integrate this all into Cultured Boys episodes. Welcome back, my friends. I'm Pepper and I'm joined by Nathan. That's the new intro, guys. Welcome to the new intro, Cultured Boys. Welcome back, my friends.
Fuck. Oh Lord.
Right, let's wrap this up before I send Nathan into any more of a downward frenzy. Thank you for listening, guys. Let us know what you think of Squid Game and Squid Game Season 2. What are your theories what's going to come up in Squid Game Season 3? Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button for future Cultured Boys videos. Check the links in our description. We have our podcast platforms there. And we'll catch you next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, my friends.